Gene Deal.
That's my name.
Glad to have you back, man. It's been a lot going on.
Cam TV. Glad to be back, bro.
That's what it is, man. Well, I'm gonna start right off, man. You're known for your close association with Diddy.
Stop it. Hold up. We not doing that.
Well, I didn't mean that in a bad way.
Hey,
but I mean,
I gotta stop that because motherfuckers will twist that around, especially with the atmosphere, what it is right now. We not doing that. I'm known as being one of his former bodyguards. Let's call it that. Alright?
okay, former
That's what I'm
bodyguard.
known as. That's what I'm known as from the public, for being one of his former bodyguards. But it goes a lot deeper than that, you know what I'm saying? I was like a big unk to him back in the day when he was coming through our crew the same game. Alright?
Okay, got you. Well, as I think everybody knows, man, Diddy has been indicted and is looking at a potential life sentence, or at least at very minimum, very, very long time, man. What was your first thoughts when you first seen the news?
Well, I knew it was coming, so I didn't have no general thoughts about it. I knew when he came back to New York and people were saying that he was around in New York in the streets, going to different places, I knew he was here to go to the turn himself into the feds.
Well, a grand jury indicted him, which I think everybody knows it's pretty easy to get indicted with a grand jury, man. But they're accusing him of racketeering, sex trafficking by force, transportation to engage in prostitution, and they're calling it a commercial sex enterprise. Do you think that those are the accurate charges that they've been brought against him?
Well, they are the accurate charges because the feds made the charges. So they have to be accurate. But do I think that, are they just charges? Is it the same charge?
Right.
Is it the same charges that R. Kelly was looking at? Some of them. Is it the same charges that Vince McMahon should have been looking at? Some of them. So the charges are accurate, but to say that I'm versed in the fact that I know what the federal government is doing by charging them that, they just going by the letter of the federal law. They looked at his actions through what Cassie and Lil Rob had wrote. And then they brought up the charges on him based on what was in their statements and things that they think that they can prove.
Okay. One of the things that they are alleging is that he used tapes to blackmail people into being part of these, freak offs. Basically telling them like, if you don't be in more freak offs, I'm going to expose these tapes.
Now, those are actual charges saying that in the indictment?
That's part of the indictment.
If that's part of the indictment, that's somewhat like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody. That might even be a state charge if you're looking at blackmail. So I really don't, like I say, regarding the letter of the law and what he did, if he did that, my man, he facing a lot of time. And I think Dawn was one of the girls who just came out recently, said that he was doing that to people.
Okay, so Dawn from Dirty Money is suing him for sexual assault. She's saying that he used to starve people for like 48 hours and make them watch him eat. She's also saying she was over his house and he was just talking to her. He just walked out and started having this conversation with her when he was in his underwear and didn't want to put on no clothes.
I've seen him, being security. I've seen him do that to people. You know what I mean? Being in the house, going places with him all around the country, being in hotels and stuff like that. He would always do that. That was a norm for him.
Okay.
Around men, around women, he didn't care. If he had a hotel room, he would come out in his underwear and everything like that. It could be men, it could be women, and because he always got the presidential suite. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a big suite, they would have a large room with a piano, all this other stuff in there, the big tables, and his room would be right there. He'll come right out there with just his underwear on. He wouldn't have no shirt or nothing on. I've seen him do that plenty of times.
Okay. Now, recently his lawyer did an interview with TMZ, and probably one of the most surprising things that his lawyer said was that he thinks that Diddy is going to take the stand in his own defense.
A lawyer would say anything, bruh, to make it sound good. But if you know what I know, that once the prosecutor get finished with him, if he takes the stand based on some of these charges, he gonna wish he hadn't. Cause though he might be bright in some of the music business, he ain't gonna be able to touch those prosecutors and they questioning.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking he was kind of just saying it to make Diddy sound innocent.
Right.
Because if you're willing to take the stand in your own defense, it kind of sounds to everybody who's listening that he's innocent.
Right.
But I was also thinking, like, Diddy kind of got, he got an ego. Like, he might actually think that he could save himself by getting on the stand.
His ego got him right where he at right now.
Yeah.
That's what his ego did for him. It got him right where he is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't think that there's any chance that he'll take the stand?
Not against the Southern District of New York, he's not. They got a team of lawyers over there, man, and like they say, they don't have a 98 point something conviction rate for nothing. They would probably love for him to take the stand. And if he don't do a little Woody, he gonna be in a lot of trouble.
You mentioned Little Woody, man. So, it's pretty tough, man. I think everybody knows, man, if you don't cooperate with the feds, it's going to be all bad for you. It's going to be really hard for you to make it out of that situation, without doing some serious time, man. So, knowing Puff and everything, do you think that he's actually going to cooperate to try to get himself out of the situation?
It depends on what the federal government wants. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by doing a Little Woody is such a genius, and people don't understand, he makes them think he's not as smart as he is. You get it? So Puff would have to do something like that if he get on the stand. Now, as far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house. If he get the bare minimum. So now, what he's going to do is, they either going to say, yo, we want to know if you know something about this, or did you have something to do with that? Even a bigger fish is frying right now. Mayor Adams of New York just been indicted. He gave Diddy the key to the city. The federal government could be like, yo, what do you know about Mayor Adams? Did you give him some money? Did you do this? How did you get the key to the city, knowing all the stuff that you had did prior to getting the key? So now, if they really want Mayor Adams, because they got some things on him, that they just indicted him today, and Diddy got some information for him, Shit. He gonna tell it.
So, I mean, just from the little bit that I do, I've known and seen, a lot of the times, especially, like I've seen with like Italian mobsters, when they debrief everything.
Mm-hmm.
They ask him about every murder, every crime, and if you leave anything out, then you can be prosecuted for that crime. So there could be, like, we could end up finding out so much stuff about Diddy. I mean, especially, if he was involved in the Tupac case.
Well, you got to look at this, man, and dealing with the law for 27 years. If they want to know something and they want somebody, they ask you. You have to give it to them when they want it, right then and there. You can't say like, yo, listen here, give me a day or two and let me think about it and everything like that, because they'll take it off the table. Now, you talking about spending the rest of your life in jail. And if he have any information about anything and they want to know, you write about one thing, even if it's the Tupac case, they would probably have to give him what they call immunity. If they give him immunity to talk about any of these crimes or any of these things, why wouldn't he tell it?
Wouldn't that be crazy if he's the one that ends up testifying against Keefe D? Because right now, everybody thinks Keefe D is snitching on Diddy.
I think Keefe D, I don't believe that he's snitching on Diddy. He's just going by a plan or something that somebody laid out for him, that he got too deep into it and he has to continue with it. You understand? Everybody believe and everybody know that we know now he never had a proffer agreement. He never had a proffer agreement. We know now that some of that stuff that Keefe D said, and we heard him state in his book and stuff like that, he just repeated a script that was given to him by Greg Kading and other people. We know that now. And the Las Vegas Police Department, when they go to trial, they're going to get all that stuff out. So I don't believe that he's snitching on Diddy, because he would have to have concrete proof. And I don't think he have any concrete proof. They don't have nothing concrete. Because if they had something concrete, they would have been brought Diddy in on it.
Right, I don't think they have anything concrete. They don't.
They don't have anything
You're absolutely
concrete.
right about that part. Okay, now, one of the things that you mentioned was Big Joe.
I mentioned Big Joe.
Yes, I don't know much about Big Joe's situation.
I never mentioned Big Joe. I mentioned that the girl and the bodyguard who they said was Joseph Stewart. Now, he's known as Big Joe. Even, I think, who was that? Yeah, that was Black Rob. Said it in his own video. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me go get the G.I. Joe. In that song, Whoa. You understand? So, the young lady, she contacted me. It has to be up to 9 months in a year, 9 months to a year almost ago. And that's the young lady who has said that Diddy and Joseph Stewart, as was told, I think the people know him as Big Joe. She contacted me. She said, yo, Gene, gave me her credentials, told me who she was friends with. She mentioned that she was close to a rap mogul. They were friends. I won't mention his name. She said that There's a tape out there that showed Sean Puffy Combs, aka Brother Love, Diddy, Puffy, and a security personnel named Joe, Big Joe. There's a tape out there when they were sexually assaulting me. I know it ain't you, Gene, but I need to know if you could help me. I don't want to do anything to Joe. This is what she told me. I just want the tape so I can give to my lawyer because I'm going to go after Puff. She told me that. I told her that I'll see what I could do. I so happily seen Joe in the street. I didn't call him or nothing like that. I seen Joe, and Joe said he didn't know anything about it. He said he didn't know anything about it, and that was it. I went back to the young lady. I told her, I spoke to Joe. He said he didn't know anything about it. I gave him, I don't know if I gave him his number or whatever like that, but she said, okay, Gene. She thanked me, and 9 months to a year later, I see this thing come out that she's accusing Joe and Puff of sexually assaulting her.
Right. I just seen this story, just broke.
That's crazy.
And
that's crazy, brother.
yeah, man. To think that Diddy was doing this even with security or, just wildly, going after people, man.
He was doing it in front of the producers. He was doing it in front of the artists. He was doing it in front of certain people. See, Puff is like this. If he know that you commit crimes, he'll commit a crime with you or around you. But if he know you ain't going for, because there's people that was NYPD, there were people who were correction officers who worked as security for Bad Boy, and Puff would dare not do nothing around them, as well as myself. He knew the people that he could do shit around, and he kept it business around those people. But people that worked for him, that were minions and stuff like that, he didn't give a shit. But certain security wouldn't allow him to do certain things, even though they was working for Green Gate Security that was a subsidiary of Bad Boy. Those guys wasn't going to lose their pension for Puff. They would have checked him in a minute. And what people don't realize, Cam, Puff is not the same dude that he is back then that he is now. He was doing some of the same shit, but he was sneaking and doing it. He wasn't out front doing it then, and then he wasn't strung out on drugs like he was now.
So you just think it kind of just spiraled out of control as the years went on and it just got worse and worse and worse?
I think that by him continuing using drugs and not getting help, and then getting away with shit. Check this shit out, man. He was getting away with shit that he should have been locked up for a long time ago. He goes to UCLA, take a cowbell, and beat a coach up, hitting and injuring a cowbell. They never go get him and put him in jail or charge him with nothing. Why? Why?
I mean, I would guess because he somehow paid his way out of it.
Money and the power. So now he's thinking in his head, he can do almost anything. He goes out and threatens people in the street dressed like the Joker and all that. He's getting away with a lot of shit. So with that and the fact that he's strung out on drugs, it can cause a person to think that they're more than what they are. Until they get locked behind those bars.
Well, you also had the whole Shine situation, which Shine just recently came out and spoke out against Diddy and said that, the Diddy basically ruined his life and that Diddy sent him to prison and that Diddy called people to testify against him when he was only really just defending Diddy, and he felt like Diddy just, buried him.
That's true to a certain degree. Sean had to take responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back in his waist and got caught coming out this club with it. Puff had enough security there that they were supposed to handle that. That wasn't Sean's problem. But because he was having incidents and he was having problems with Junior Mafia at the time, he had to keep a gun on him. And if Anthony Wolf Jones, who was like stopping a lot of bull crap to go down with Sean and Junior Mafia, if he pulled his gun out, Sean was going to pull his gun out too. It wasn't more so for Diddy. It was more so because Anthony Wolf Jones had made that move, but he was security. He's supposed to make that move. And because Sean and him was real close, Sean made that move too.
Yeah, that was, okay.
But Wolf did not have not one part of Puff getting those witnesses and giving them to the prosecutor. That was Puff lawyer and Puff and certain people in security and the street team doing that. They knew they was going to testify against Sean. They got the information, gave it to their Puff lawyer and them gave them the information to get in touch with the prosecutor, and they knew exactly what they was going to tell the prosecutor because they talked to the witness first.
Are you saying that the witness was going to come to the stand anyway, that it didn't matter if Diddy's team called him or not?
Come on, have you ever been at a party, some shooting happened, everybody go everywhere? The prosecutor don't know where they at. People of our culture don't go in and call up, hey, I was at the party, I want to come down and testify. They don't do that. Street team, people, and security knew some of the people that was there at the party. They got in touch with them. They brought them back either to the bad boy office or at Daddy's house. That's where we record at. And they told Puff what they saw. Puff gave him a call. They gave him information to get in contact with his lawyer. They contacted the lawyer. Then they contacted the lawyer and them. They had the people contact them and send it go to the prosecution. And those people were basically handpicked based on the information to testify against Sean.
One of the recent stories that's been coming out about Diddy is that they've placed him on, take his own life watch. They're worried that he's going to do something to himself. And they, remember the Epstein thing, had everybody going crazy. So I'm pretty sure they don't want a repeat of that.
Especially it's at the same place. It's at the same place that Epstein was at. That's not a good watch to be on. Because 9 times out of 10, they put you in a padded room and you butt naked. You're in a padded room and you butt naked practically. Are you in these kind of garments that you can't even tear? They easy to tear. They just like, you couldn't make a rope or anything to strangle yourself with it. You understand what I'm saying? So you in a place that damn you butt naked in drawers. I guess he'll feel at home because he used to walk around in his drawers. But that's not a good watch to be on, man. And then you don't have any association with nobody other than lunch when they slide in your tray under your tape under the door or through the door.
Yeah, man. I'm sure it's hitting him like a ton of bricks. You know, especially being off of drugs now for a week now, or almost a week. You know, I'm sure it's hitting him hard. You know, they're also saying that he's not eating because he's scared that somebody's gonna poison his food.
Nah. They probably put him in the infirmary, something like that, man. 9 times out of 10, they'll put him in the infirmary. There'll be bed rest, and they'll put an IV or something in there. I know they do that on the state level. I don't know how the feds operate in that capacity.
I mean, do you think that that somebody would try to poison him when he's in jail?
No, I don't think none of that. I think it's just tactics that the lawyers trying to use in order to get him moved to a better place. And I don't know nowhere in New York State with the Fed system, because most of the time the Feds contract their stuff out to other agencies. You understand? They have stuff out at the airport where these people got these big trailers that they have prisons in, or they turn these airport hangars into correctional facilities that private industry runs. See, problem is that he got a lot of bad press behind that big stuff. He got a lot of bad press behind that Tupac, stuff. And any place he go, you're gonna find somebody who loved Tupac or loved Big. You understand? And the fact that he's been known to put his hands on women is another problem for him. So any place that they put him, it ain't the food he should be worried about.
So you think that the inmates, there's definitely a serious inmate, a lot of inmates could try to hurt him just because of the type of charges that he is locked up for.
That, and then or inmate will be there who runs the floor, who runs the shit, put him up under his wing and say, yo, listen to me. You're going to make sure that our commissary, my people, is taken care of on the outside, and I'm going to make sure ain't nothing going to happen to you on the inside. It's a lot of things that's gonna play, and they may go down. But that's prison politics.
A lot of people are saying that this is all part of Cassie's plan, that she files the lawsuit, gets the money, signs the NDA, and she knows that if the police come knocking, she's gonna have to talk about it, or the NDA would be no good if the feds got involved.
I don't believe Cassie thought that far. Anytime somebody commit a crime, or a crime is being committed, an NDA, a non-disclosure, is like it's like a blank piece of paper. It don't mean nothing. You understand? I don't believe it was Cassie at all. I believe that the people that Puff made feel very uncomfortable by saying that they were racist. They hired they publicists and they people behind them went at Puff, went after them, and if you read Little Rod's case that he put against Diddy, they wrote that up as if it was an indictment. They put times, places, people, and footage. This is where the crime was committed at. Here go the footage. You understand what I'm saying? Lil Rob, his statement, his lawsuit was way more detailed in criminal activity than Cassie was. And they filed it in the civil court and sent it to the feds. So when the feds got that, they got to read it. They got to see what's going on. And if a crime is committed there and it's something federal, they have to react to it.
Yeah, but I mean, Cassie's lawsuit, bro, she's alleging rape and blowing cars up and
That's not federal.
And
it still wasn't federal. Only thing was federal when she was saying that she would cross state lines. When she said she went cross state lines, he hired a prostitute. He hired a prostitute to come across state lines and was forced to have sex with them. Now that's federal. That's why he's in the trouble. But Lil Rob, some of the things that he was saying, the same thing. Going places, picking up prostitutes, having them come to different places and have sex. It was that too. Because let me just tell you something, man. The feds ain't give a damn about Cassie getting her ass whooped in that hallway. Let's keep it a buck. We had several times that we've seen professional athletes smack and beat up their girls on camera. Jay-Z got his ass whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name?
Right.
Solange. You got his ass. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped. It's those other things that come under the guidelines that they care about.
yeah, I mean, the tape comes out, man, and the way I seen it when the tape came out, it made it look like everything Cassie was accusing him of now has credibility.
Before we seen that tape, it was a young lady named Gina that accused Puff of punching her, kicking her, and totally assaulting her while she was pregnant. Not one news media other than I think Tasha K ran that. Nobody did nothing because he was protected by those people. He was still in good with those people. The federal government is just as guilty as Diddy.
Do you believe that media and people in general, or even people in high places, are scared of Diddy? And they're scared like how powerful he is and the things that he could do to them?
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand? I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand. That's why a lot of those rappers, that's why a lot of those athletes, they not saying nothing and they quiet as a church mouse. Because now they don't want to mess up their brand and they don't know what he's going to say. You ain't heard nothing from his biggest fan, Stevie J. He been quiet.
A lot of people are quiet. That's a fact. Well, one of the things that happened right after Diddy was arrested is a long list of CEOs stepped down. What are your thoughts on that?
Half of New York City stepped down. So, did you know that, Cam?
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah. In the mayor's office, damn near everybody is stepping down. From fire chiefs to police chiefs to commissioner of this, commissioner of that, the board of education and everything. I was like, yo, damn, all of them was on Diddy Island? I don't even know. But what I'm saying to you, allegedly, all these people are stepping down because they don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to be brought up in this whole Diddy mess. And they preparing. It appears to me that they preparing, if anything come out, that they could be already out and it won't be a big to do. They already someplace else. They already living a whole different lifestyle. So if their name came up, it won't be real big, great news because they're not in those positions anymore. That's what it appeared to me. They was getting out those positions so that it won't be a whole media race if they name come up in any of that stuff. They'd be like Kevin Lau, oh, the former CEO of, you know what I'm saying? It'll go away. But if he was still working there, then it'd be a big news and a big to-do.
It would be a lot of pressure to fire him also. So it would be a lot. Yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah?
It'd be a big deal. Well, one of the things, man, is a few people have came out in defense of Diddy.
Who?
Guys like Boosie.
Who?
Boosie.
Who?
So
that's nobody, bro.
It's saying he feels like Diddy's in jail for doing what every entertainer has done.
Now, brother, is that some defense? You admitting that other people is committing crimes. Is that a good defense? That's why I'm saying who. That's not a defense. He's already admitted that we know what he's doing because all of us do it. So all entertainers hire prostitutes and bring them across state lines to have sex with their girl forcefully. All entertainers do that? Because that's what he's being charged with. I don't think they understand what the federal government is charging them with. Sex trafficking. Paying somebody, bringing them across state lines to have sex for money.
I think they're just looking at it in a vague way. At least that's what I think. Because sex trafficking can technically be if, like, say I'm in California and I meet a prostitute in Utah and I fly her out for the weekend. That could technically be sex trafficking.
Yeah. Yeah.
No force, or nothing.
That's the law.
That's the law.
That's the law.
15 years.
It's a lot of laws that's on the books that shouldn't be on the books. But while they're on the books, you obey them. And when you think you're higher than the law, they'll bring you down and show them that you're not. They'll show you that nobody is above the law. Especially when you are a man of color.
It's crazy that the feds would get involved in something because it seems like, a pretty minor crime.
But there's a lot of other stuff that's going on with that. They look at the
right.
They look at the stuff. They look at this right here, bro. First and foremost, all the companies that you have, you understand, and now I know some people have trust and have companies in their kids' name. This man never put anything in his name. Why? It's either his mother, his son, You know what I'm saying? His kid's name and everything like that. He had 18 companies that was giving him some kind of revenue. Why is nothing really in his name? Is there some kind of tax evasion? They looking at that. You understand? You got people in the industry that's been saying for years, this man is having sex with underage. So now the federal government is looking at that like, yo, when is somebody going to come forward? We got this information, this alleged information, but nobody's willing to come forward. Then they go on and say, yo, Shakur Stewart mysteriously dead. Supposed to be a self-inflicted wound. Person that had everything going for him in their life. Kim Porter dead. Somebody's car gets blown up. This guy is walking around threatening other actors, people. Somebody got to get involved in it. If it ain't the state, let it be the feds. Somebody got to stop him. He lucky that God given him the opportunity to be stopped while he's alive, didn't have to go to hell and face that shit. He got a chance to repent now, change his life.
You mentioned minors, and a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and they're making a lot of allegations.
Mm-hmm. Same way they made allegations about Usher when Usher was younger.
I mean, do you think that there's any credibility to these allegations?
When there's smoke, there's fire. Why would Diddy be tapping his kid in his chest to see if he wired? And asking him, are you wired? Why would he be confronting that kid? Why would Justin Bieber make a song about, what is it? I got smashed at a Diddy party or something like that? Why? There's reasons behind all this. So, where there's smoke, there's fire, Cam. I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, Justin, he's been real quiet about this. I mean, I think like a lot of the other celebrities.
I was reading some, Cam, and the kids say after he went to Diddy camp, he started using drugs so heavy and was smashed every day. What would cause a kid who wanted to be an artist in the music business all of a sudden to start getting high and drinking and drugging, popping pills and smoking? What would cause a kid to do that?
I mean, usually trauma.
Or a Diddy party.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy to see what happens. See if he admits, if he actually comes forward. I mean, it could be, the list of celebrities and people who are talked about, if Diddy tells all, it could be crazy.
I see you said I mentioned Justin Bieber. You ain't say I mentioned Kevin Hart.
Okay. What's going on with Kevin Hart?
I don't know, man.
Oh,
They,
okay.
the internet is going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You hear that?
Wow. I didn't hear that one.
That must be one of your favorite. That must be one of your favorite comedians then. Cause you ain't hear that?
Kevin's cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
Kevin's cool, but I didn't hear that one.
Oh my!
I must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that, and he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
You know, he would be one of the celebrities that I definitely wouldn't think would be involved in anything illegal. For sure.
But you gotta realize this, man. People who get caught up in certain those things like that, those parties and things like that, is that they don't go there looking for that stuff. You gotta understand they get caught up in the moment with the alcohol, the drugs, and then certain bottles that are laced with certain things that take you away from your normal self. And you end up probably doing something that you probably never do again in your life. You never get caught up in those things ever before. There are a lot of celebrities that go to these parties like this. And they not only Diddy parties. I went to a party before and You Can't Handle the Truth and King Kong Ain't Got Nothing on Me was at one of those parties. I was bodyguarding one of the girls. So what I'm saying is that it's rampant, and this was years ago. This was over 20 years ago. It's rampant in the music industry. It's rampant in Hollywood, film, pictures, and anything.
From the outside, you know, we just hear a lot of stories. You know, we don't actually see this stuff, you know, with our own eyes. We just hear a lot of wild stories, so we don't really know, you know, how bad it is or how often it's happening, or, you know what I'm saying, is this stuff consensual, not consensual? You know, we've seen kid actors and, you know, come forward, but, you know, this case right here has kind of been, I think, an eye-opener for a lot of people. We talked about Dawn from Dirty Money a little bit earlier, and one of the things she said was that she was with Diddy at a dinner when he punched Cassie in front of Usher, Neo, and Jimmy Iovine and other high-profile guests. What do you think of that?
And those men sit up there and seen her being abused by him, and they did what everybody else did for years in the industry. They kept it quiet and kept doing business with him.
Do you think a lot of people know what Puff was doing and kind of just turned a blind eye?
Yeah. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. He had got so... You're listening. Everybody in the world knew he took a cowbell and tried to beat the coach up with it. Nobody did nothing. They heard stories for years about him slapping, beating Kim, and all other women that he was with. I'm surprised more haven't came out with it. They don't probably want the attention or whatever. But there's more women out there can say that he probably put their hands on them.
With Usher, Neo, and Jimmy Iovine being exposed as somebody who might have potentially seen this type of behavior, you know, do you think that they will try to call them on the stand, or, you know, like, do you think they should be held accountable for some of that too?
Well, I think that when you have situations like that and you in a room with somebody, you can't make them see anything when they come to the stand because all they could just say is that I didn't see it. I was there. I wasn't looking in that direction. I don't know what really happened. All I know is Cassie was holding her stomach, bent over, throwing up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they'll say anything. Their lawyers will tell them what to say. They have people to teach them what to say in circumstances and situations like that. So Dawn, yes, she saw it. She saw that they were there, and they should have seen it too. She would have to describe when that happened, what did Usher do? What did Neo do? What did they say? What did Jimmy Iovine do? What did Jimmy Iovine say? So they could be questioned based on what she said took place at that scene.
Now, one of the things I think that, if this thing actually goes to trial.
What thing?
That's what I was getting to.
What thing is that? It's going to trial, man. It's going to trial. Yo, Cam. It's going to trial.
Maybe not. Not if he snitches.
If he take a plea and they give him immunity.
If he cooperates and takes a plea, it might not go to trial.
Okay. You're right.
But one of the biggest things that I think would come, if Diddy actually makes it to a trial, is going to be Cassie getting on the stand.
I don't believe so.
You don't believe, but she's there. She's got to be their star witness, though.
Like, she could be their star witness, but I don't think that's going to be the big moment. The big moment is when Lil Rob get on that stand, and he has to explain how did he wake up in a bed with 3 or 4 men butt naked with Diddy, not knowing that he was drugged and he had some kind of liquor or alcohol that was laced that caused men to have sex with him. That's going to be crazy. You don't think that'll be crazy?
I think Cassie would be much. She was his girlfriend for what, 8-10 years or something? She's going to get on the stand and she's going to document their whole relationship, man. Every sex act,
And some was consensual.
Some was consensual.
Some
all
was
the
consensual, something like that. Yeah.
All the gay stuff.
You don't think that's some horrific shit? I know her having different sex partners with Puff. Puff and Kim was doing that.
But the beatings though too.
Right,
I mean, that's probably not the only time he did that.
Oh, no doubt. That's definitely not the only time. We know that's not the only time. We already know another time that Dawn saw it. So if he did it in front of Dawn, he did it in front of other people. But Lil Rob said that they shot a guy in the studio and drug him outside. They shot somebody in the studio and drugged the guy outside. I don't know, man. It's going to be a circus.
It's going to be a circus. All right, we definitely agree on that. How do you feel about people constantly trying to drag Jay-Z into this Diddy situation when I haven't really seen like one piece of evidence that ties him to this at all?
Well, I would say this. It's kind of funny to me, man, is that Diddy used to hate Jay-Z. He hated Jay-Z enough when he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay-Z. This is back in the early 2000s. And one day, Ashler, Kushner, Diddy, and myself went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z. I've never been a Jay-Z fan, like some of his music, the whole 9 yards. But When we went over to the, I think that was Prudential Center in Newark, and him and Puff met up, it was strange to me. Because I remember what Puff was trying to do. And then both of them, they was talking about something amongst each other, amongst all of us, and laughing and joking with each other. Then over the years, I see them giving garden parties. You understand what I'm saying? You could tell that the people in power had gave that reign to Diddy, and Jay was next in line. So to separate him, when in fact they may be two of the same, but because Jay-Z is low key, that low key sneaky shit, and Diddy is and was rambunctious, just out with it. It don't mean that they not two of the same. One just a little quiet with his shit.
What happened at the basketball game? When they ran into, you guys ran into Jay-Z?
They was just talking. They was talking amongst each other about their little white girls. They little skinny white girls.
And I mean, did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah. He was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
I couldn't tell you the reason behind it. It's probably because Big had died. I don't know what it was, man. I don't know why he wanted Ja Rule to go at Jay. I guess if he kept them beefing or kept them into some bullshit, he could rise up in between both of them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It definitely was some snake shit.
Well, Meek Mill is also someone who has been tied into this whole Diddy situation, mainly because of the Little Rod lawsuit where, Little Rod claims that Diddy told him that they hooked up. So Meek Mill tweets recently that he wants to hire an investigation team and pay him $100K to find out every specific detail involving him and the Diddy case.
That sounds strange. That sounds strange. Because you as a man, if you know you ain't do nothing and you ain't got no problem with nothing and you sure with yourself, you don't give a what nobody else say. Why you gotta hire somebody that you want to make sure or prove to somebody else that you and Diddy didn't have a relationship when you know within yourself you didn't have a relationship with him? Tell him, give me that 100,000. I'll tell everybody, Meek Mills ain't do shit with Diddy. And make sure everybody know that. Don't make no sense as a man. They talked about Jesus Christ. What are you worrying about what they say about him?
Do you think maybe he just wants to know what the feds know about him?
The feds gonna let them know anyway. When Diddy gets discovery, if he lets this go to the point whereas that whatever the feds is charging him with, they have to give discovery. Now, they don't have to give and show everybody what's on those tapes. You understand what I'm saying? And those tapes could be locked up and sealed away for a very long time. But whatever they charge with, they're going to give the defense team the discovery. And if it's seen that somebody is there doing something that appears to be illegal, and he's a part of that, it'll be in the discovery.
From what I understand, the feds are real tricky. It's not like the state where they let you know everything ahead of time. Like, a lot of this stuff you might not even know up until right before the trial starts.
They can't produce it still, bro. If in fact he's being charged with something, that's where you have your good lawyers tell the judge, nah, Your Honor, we didn't get that. You can't bring that in court like that. That's what you have good lawyers for.
One of the things that I think was, you know, I kind of just didn't understand it, but they're saying that Diddy is facing asset forfeiture. The government wants to seize the properties tied to racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges.
That's a good way of saying that what a black man has earned all these years for doing music, we want to take it away because he didn't get this from doing music, which is a lie. He got those things for doing music, selling alcohol, doing whatever he was doing. So now they want to put a crime on it and try to seize his property and seize his things that he has earned, which has nothing to do with what they're trying to charge him with.
Yeah, it's literally nothing to do with what he's being charged with, which was what I thought was kind of crazy. But I mean, I guess because it's a RICO situation that, you know, they can try to work something out, but I don't know, it's probably going to be difficult.
Yeah, because his money was loaned, whereas the part that anything he had, he could either put mortgages and all these other things on it. So the Fed is out of their mind with that one.
If he goes to trial, what are the odds that he beats it?
Slim to none.
I mean, you gotta think, man. This Diddy, he's bringing 100 mil. He's bringing 100 mil of lawyers to the table, man. He's not gonna play with his freedom.
One witness to prove sex trafficking. You have to have one witness. You already said yourself, Cam, that Cassie is the star witness. All you need is one witness to prove it. She got the time, the places, and one of the persons. He's in federal custody right now. Jonathan Odie. He's in custody right now.
Who's Jonathan Odie? Jonathan
Odie is one of the sex traffickers that brought the case to, I think, the Miami-Dade police when he went into one of Trump's office and shot it up.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. That guy came out years ago claiming that Diddy, Khaled, and Rick Ross were all gay.
He also came out and he had pictures and everything. He also said that Diddy and them was they was putting liquid cocaine in bottles and shipping it around the country. He also said that he was a sex slave for Diddy and them. He also had $36 in his bank account, and within 2 weeks, somebody had put like $4 million in there. He was buying property and everything.
Well, I seen that Diddy tried to silence you, or tried to get you to stop talking about him.
This is relayed to me by Kirk Burrows. This guy is like this with Diddy. You seen him on Drink Champs with him. You see him walking the streets in Miami with him. The whole 9 yards. So I'm saying to him, what does he want to talk to me for? He ain't got nothing to say to me. He said, yo, Gene, he said enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough to what? And I told Kirk Burrows, I said, yo, I said, he don't want to talk to me for himself. He want to talk to me for Diddy. And I ain't got nothing to say to him. He ain't said enough is enough to Wolf Mother. when he cursed out and told her all kinds of shit? Did he say enough to Big's mother? What do you mean enough is enough? And that's how that conversation went.
How did you feel about it after you were done?
I felt that, like, because they must have got at Kirk Burrows, because Kirk called me with the bullshit. Yo, you got to fix that. You know this. Man, God, excuse me. Listen here, bro. I don't care nothing about none of these industry cats and what they do and how they do it. That's their business. You understand? I don't tell a man how to screw his wife and how to spend his money. You don't tell me what I got to do with my time. Point blank.
You know, do you feel like at some point Diddy could try to come after you or do something? You know, being that he's went after a lot of people. He's did a lot of stuff, as you know about.
Cam, let me tell you something, man. If I worried about what somebody would do for me, I wouldn't be the man that I am. I keep my head on the swivel. I do what I have to do to protect myself and my family. All I know is that I know one thing for certain, two things for sure. I got people out here that love me. You understand? And if something happened to me, I know people's going to make sure you meet me wherever we got to go after this life.
You know, I kind of wanted to touch on some old school stuff that I seen you talk about before, man.
Do it, bro.
You know, I had seen that, you kind of knew 50 Cent before he blew up.
Yeah.
What was that like?
50 was the type of dude that kept like a little, he kept like a little pad with him. And he wrote everything down. You understand? Me and him caught the plane. We was going to Vegas. And I gave him my card. My business card was savoir faire, security management, and everywhere. You know what I mean? So 50 did a song about that. You know what I'm saying? And he put that in the song. And some years ago, about a year or so ago, not even a year or so ago, he said that when he dropped my name, he said, yo, I got the savoir faire. I got that from Big Gene. He been trying to tell y'all about this Puff shit years ago. But 50 was the type of dude that if you knew he was with you, he was with you. Even back then, he had your back whether you was security or whatever you did. If he was with you, he was with you. And that's what you gotta love about him. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta question his loyalty, you know what I'm saying, on some fight shit or if you in a situation. Cause he going out.
Well, I guess you were hanging around him or knew him, right before he got shot.
Well, what happened is that I had got some information. 50 came to my house. I tried to fit him on a vest, but I'm like, at the time I was like a 3X. And 50 was like a large, you know what I'm saying? So he couldn't really fit the vest, but I gave him a cover to try to tell him, because he had some pads, some vest pads. So I just told him what the situation was that I knew. And told him he had to watch himself because those cats was gonna come at him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah. And he was supposed to be going to Cancun. And I told him, if you come to Cancun, I got you, because I used to be down there doing security at Daddy-O's. You understand? And I had people down there that I had knew that was from Puerto Rico, and they was working down there, so they should make sure when I hit the island, anything and everything I needed, I could get it right there on the island. You understand? They work directly with the syndicate. So 50 was supposed to come down there to do a show, and he didn't make it because they had shot him up. I don't know if he was coming in the first place, but he was supposed to, because he was paid half the money to come down there to perform How to Rob an Industry Cat.
And when was the next time you seen him after that?
The next time I seen 50 after that was at Jack the Rapper. He had blew up. Man. He was like, he was this dude and everything like that. and I was sitting in we was in Puerto Rico, and I was sitting by myself, just chilling, and he had his whole entourage with him. He came directly over to me. He like, yo, Gene. I was like, yo, what up, Fifth? I said, what up, 50? He said, what's up, man? He said, yo, put his hand out to me, and he grabbed my hand. He said, yo, they can't stop what God got planned. Went on about his business. And then he blew up crazy.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
How do you feel about 50 going so hard at Diddy with the documentaries and, he, man, what did he do to 50 that made him hate him so much, man? That's crazy.
Well, I think it's just, you got to look at it like this. 50 was writing a lot of shit that made a lot of money for Diddy. And he knew back then in the day, he didn't know what he know now, but Diddy was robbing him. You understand? Mm-hmm. Bringing those kids in and say, yo, here, write this verse for me, man, for this, stuff like that, and giving them $5,000, you understand? Or $10,000, and you making $100,000 or $200,000 or maybe $2 million off of it, or $1 million, whatever the case may be. See, people call that good business. That's not good business. That's taking a person's talent, using it for your own self-indulgence, and not giving him what it's worth. When you could have been teaching these kids, you could have been helping these kids, and maybe these kids would have been helping you at the point you are right now. So, if that's the case, he have every right. But 50 is doing this for the culture. You understand? If it's going to be told, he going to have it, and it's going to be told the right way.
Yeah, man. And 50, he go hard on Diddy, man. It's constant on his Instagram. It's kind of, it's pretty entertaining to see him be so passionate about his hate for Diddy.
Listen, how many of your enemies you love?
Right. I don't love any of my enemies, man. Well, Gene Dill, man, I really appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, Cam, can I plug my books, man, on your show?
For sure.
All right, I got these 2 books out. The first one is My World of Bodyguard and a Hip Hop Star. The beginning of my life up until the time in which the Notorious Biggs died. It got stories in here about rap beefs. It got stories in here about any and everything coming through from St. Louis to New York City. It's got different entrepreneurs here in New York City and everything. Then the second one is Life After Death When Bodyguard and a Hip Hop Star. It has the night that Big died, everything that you want to know. Stories about Pun, Big L, Fat Joe, every and anything. You know what I'm saying? It also have the Crews, the Same Gang in it, and Slick and the Family. You can also, I'm the first person that ever did this. I put a QR code in here, right? Where you can go directly to some pictures that's not in the book, because they were going to charge me extra to put the pictures in the book. So I did it the slick way.
You outsmarted them and put a QR code.
Yes, sir. Cam, thank you. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Gene.
Salute.
For sure. What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.